All right, everyone, welcome back to Breslov Efrat here at Shir David. Baruch Hashem, Haidul Hashem, Ki Tov, Ki L'Olam Chazed, that we have the opportunity to be here in Eretz Yisrael. It's so beautiful, it's unbelievable. There's no words to even describe it. It's just amazing. Unless you're here, you can't understand it. Is that right, guys? Unless you're here, you can't understand how beautiful Eretz Yisrael is. Okay, so and we get together to learn Likutey Halachos, how wonderful that is. Thank you, Hashem. Okay, we're learning Likutey Halachos. We're in Hilchos Ha'idah, giving thanks to Hashem, and we are in Halacha Vav, and we're in middle of letter 24. Okay, number 24. We're in middle of 24. We're discussing Yaakov Avinu. We're discussing his journey when he escaped from Esav, because he came to Yitzchak to take the brachas from Esav, right? And then Yitzchak Avinu said, "Hakol kol Yaakov vayadayim yedei Esav," right? And he said it twice, twice. Kol, kuf lamed, and then kuf vav lamed. And then we said, why was it mentioned twice? And why was it spelled differently in the two times it was mentioned? Right? If it's kol is kuf lamed, or kol is kuf vav lamed. Obviously it can be both, right? But why would the Torah write it in the same sentence two different ways? What? So the answer, I'm just reviewing our lesson from yesterday. I'm reviewing the lesson from yesterday, so we know where we're up to, okay? So we said that it's referring to call as the voice. And we said so long as we are using our voice to Hashem, the Dayim of Esav have no power, right? In other words, when we're doing the right thing and we're crying out to Hashem in Tefillah, Avodah, His Baidadas, he's saying good word to somebody else and lifting somebody up and things like that we do. These are the words that take away the power from Esav. They leave him powerless. Okay. Now, why did it say it twice? Because there's the two times we cry out to Hashem. Vayetzaku el Hashem, right? We cry out to Hashem. Mitzukay seyem yatzilem, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, from our constraints, we cry out to Hashem. Why do you cry out to Hashem? Because you're lacking something, right? A person cries out because he's lacking something. He's missing something. And that's why he cries out to Hashem. He needs help with whatever he needs, whether it's physical, spiritual, whether it has to do with his health, has to do with his parnasa. It doesn't matter. He cries out to Hashem. He's lacking something, and hence that's why that's the first crying out, and that's why the kol is spelled kuf lamed chaser the vav. It doesn't have the vav because it's showing that the person is lacking something. Okay. And then once the person gets what he needs, he cries out to Hashem again, but this time in thanks. And that's why the second time kol is written in the sentence. It's written kol with a vav, kuf vav lamed. It's malay. Why? Because he received what he needed, what he was lacking for. So hence now we understand why it says kol twice. One, the first time is what you're lacking, and then you cry out to Hashem. And the second crying to Hashem is a cry of thanks. It's a cry of thanks. He's crying to Hashem out of joy, out of happiness, because he received what he was lacking. Okay, so that's what we're up to. We're up to in this chapter. We're up to 24 right now. And then we learned this idea we said that also kol is the same gematria sulam, right? Sulam and kol have the same gematria, right? And then the sulam was mutzav artza v'roishay megia Sheleimah, right? The sulam was planted in the ground well in the ground, and it reached up to heaven. And then HaKadosh Baruch Hu told Yaakov Avinu, he promised him at that time that your children will be. That's when HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised, but he uses the words afar. And again, the sulam was mutzav arza in the afar, right? Okay. So this is the things that we're learning about, and it's just amazing. The whole point of Klal Yisrael, of us, is to be in this world, in the afar, is to be in the grime of this world, and to find Hashem into this world, and to lift up Hashem. That's why we're the afar, but we can connect to Hashem from the afar. We can lift up the afar and make the afar amazing. The same way HaKadosh Baruch Hu took afar and he made Adam Arishon, and Adam Arishon was created by Hashem, right? And he had the opportunity to be the greatest of the great, and he was the greatest of the great. But he didn't know he had to say he's sorry. All right, anyway, that's something we have to always remember. You make a mistake, own up to the mistake, say you're sorry. It's a very important thing. It's a very, very important thing. There are some people out there, no matter what happens, they will never say they made a mistake. I've met people like that, and it's so sad. It's sad. You ever meet anyone like that?
There's people, yeah, I have. Why is it so hard for them?
I don't make mistakes. They don't make mistakes. It's amazing. They have Adam Arishon syndrome, right? Or Chava syndrome is the same thing. Later, it doesn't matter. I can't say I'm done. Sorry. Pass the buck off on somebody else. All right, whatever. I work with people like that. I know. What?
As a child.
Yeah. What?
They had a trauma as a child, and it forced their ego to make a mistake. It's just terrifying.
Yeah, but we learned that we're new people every day. Who cares what happened when we were children? That's connected to the atzvas. We always knew, fresh. Right? Okay, anyway, here we go. So now, Hashem says to Yaakov Avinu, V'hinei anoichi imach. Wow, very beautiful words. V'hinei anoichi imach. I will be with you. How do you like that? Behold, I will be with you. B'chinas aliyas hamalchus, chi shchinas eleikusai, shohayu b'chinas golos be'echolei atemurais. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, when you're going to be stuck in the Heichal HaTemurah, and he's telling Yaakov Avinu this, you're going down to Lavan. That's the headquarters of the Heichal HaTemurah. Everything's exchanged over there. Literally. Everything gets exchanged. I mean, look at Yaakov Avinu. He works for Razel, and he gets an exchange. He gets Leah, right? Everything's exchanged over there. That's the Heichal HaTemurah, right? But Hashem says, I'll be with you. And then while you're in that place, and you can still do a mitzvah, and still connect to Hashem b'simcha, you could lift up the Shechina from the Klipa, and you could lift up the Shechina to the highest place. You could take the Afar, the Heichal HaTemurah, and you can elevate it up to the highest place. You'll be Bisroi Hashem Yisbarach V'hine Anoichi Imach. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave Yaakov Avinu this information, this tiding, that I will be with you. Why? Because again, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mekoy Moi Shaloyla. Right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu is Mekoy Mo Shaloyla. He is the world. Hashem is the world. So any place you find yourself in the world, any makam you find yourself in the world, you're connected to Hashem. Because Hashem is Mekoy Mo Shaloyla. He is the world. Shayidei zeh ikka hakoyach levorer If you could know that wherever you are, that's under Hashem's control. Amazing, right? Wherever you are, you know you're under Hashem's control. You're with Hashem. It's so beautiful, right? To realize this. to realize this. Wow. I mean, our hostages that were released, right? I mean, they were in the most gloomy place possible to be, right? Under these tunnels and who knows how far underground. But that's also Mekayimei Sheleimah. And they were able to tap into Hashem in that place because He's there. You just have to know wherever you are, you're with. If you're in the world, you're with Hashem. And don't forget, wherever you are in the world, you take your neshama with you. And your neshama is a chelik elikam imal. So you have the neshama with you in the place of Hashem, so you could really connect anytime. And we were talking before about wireless connection, right? Right. So you know, wireless. You're connecting your neshama takadosh baruch Hu all the time. We're always connected to Hashem. We always have that connection. Hashem is baruch imay tamid afilu b'mekaymas hachitzoniyim chas v'shalom. And even if a person finds himself in the most external places, the most remote places, chitzoniest, right? External places. Shezeh bechinas gam kielech b'geit salmoves le'ira ra kiyate imadi. Look at that. Right? Mizmah l'David, right? Gam kielech, even if I go into the gates, the gates of death, whatever, something. Lo ira, I'm not in no fear. Why? Kiyate imadi, you're with me. No, it's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, ima enechi b'tzara. Hashem is always with us. Ishmarticha b'chol asher telech, and I'll watch you wherever you go. How do you like that? Isn't that nice? B'bechinas shmiras haraglin shehem klei halicha, and that's the feet, because they are the evarim of our halicha, of walking. And how does that work? We said when you do the mitzvah b'simcha, you rise, the Shechina gravitates up, connects to Malchus. Malchus then connects to Netzach Hod Yesod. We said Netzach and Hod is the right leg and the left leg, correct? That's the Raglin. HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, you do your mitzvahs b'simcha, and you'll have a shmira on your feet. I mean, I think every what do you call it? The podiatrist should know this, right? It's amazing, right? You have a shmira on your feet. Whatever, okay. V'ashivayisicha el ha'oretz hazois, and I'll bring you back to this land. Hashem is telling Yaakov, because Yaakov Avinu is now in his dream, right? This is his dream. He's on Har HaBayis. And he has his dream. And Hashem is telling him, look, you're going to have children of Haratza Yama Vakema Zafayna Vanegba. You're going to have a lot of children. Ka'afara Oretz. And don't worry, I'm going to be with you. You're going on a mission because your father wants you to go and not take the girls from Canaan because they're no good for you. So you have to go back to your mother's family and get a girl from there. Right? That was the thing. So Hashem is telling him, I'm going with you. You have to go wherever you're going. Don't worry, you're not going there yourself. I'm going with you. You can't go anywhere yourself. In other words, you cannot go anywhere yourself in this world. How can you go anywhere yourself? Anywhere you go in this world is Mekomo Sheleimah. Hashem is there. He's there. He's the Mekomo Sheleimah. And I'll bring you back. You're not going there for the sake of going there. You're going there for the sake to come back. Shemikola Yeridas v'Aliyas Toshuv El Oretz. Whatever Aliyah and Yerida the person makes, he should always come back to Eretz Yisrael. Toshuv El Oretz. See that? You got to tell this to Nefesh B'Nefesh. This is what they need to know, right? Any Aliyahs and Yeridas you're going through, come back to Eretz Yisrael. Shehu Eretz Yisrael. Come back to the Eretz Yisrael. Shesham Mabeis HaMikdash. Shesham Ikar HaSogas HaTes Heichol. And that's the place that you can connect. And you can understand. And you can attain the idea of these the Tes Heicholim, the 9 chambers of holiness that are filled with the Or Ein Sof. And why is that? We said because the Beis HaMikdash, you had the Heichel, the Kodesh, was the 9th level of holiness. right? And the 10th level of holiness is the Kodesh Kodashim. But between the Kodesh and the Kodesh Kodashim, you had the Paroiches, right? You had the Paroiches. There was the divider. That was the Keter. So now the Koyim can go till there, but he can't go there, and he pushes him back, and that's how the person can keep elevating. So if you want to keep doing this process of the Tishrei Cholin and get more light and more spiritual light, but not just regular light, you're getting the Or Ein Sof, you're getting the unlimited light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu every time you do a mitzvah b'simcha. It's amazing. And Eretz Yisrael is the place that you can do it, because this is the place where we have Har HaBayis, where we have the Makom HaMikdash. It's nowhere else in the world. Any questions on this? Any questions, comments? Does anyone want to say anything? It's pretty powerful, I think. It's pretty powerful that this is HaKadosh Baruch Hu telling this to Yaakov Avinu. And we know that really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling this to every single Jew. It's not just to Yaakov Avinu. He's really telling it to all of us. Because we all have that chelik of neshama that's called Yaakov, remember? So really HaKadosh Baruch Hu is telling this to every single Jew. It's a message to all of us. Okay. No questions, no comments? Amazing. Okay. Wow. Okay. Kiloi ezavcha. I will not abandon you. V'dosho b'sein zchan l'vrocha. Shevticha yala parnosa. V'bechinas lo reisi tzadik nezak. We say this in the benching, right? Lo reisi tzadik nezak. We never saw a tzadik that went. And that's an interesting thing. You know, the tzaddikim are the ones that have this, they have a simcha in what they have, right? In other words, Ezo Asher Sameach Nechelko, whatever you have, if you know whatever you have is from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and this is what Hashem designed and gave me, so then that brings a person comfort, right? That he told them that you'll get the blessings of the hands. How do you get the blessings of the hands? So we said, you did the mitzvah b'simcha, you rose the Shechina up to the Malchus, it went to Netzach and Hoid Yisoid. That was the feet, that he said, I'll watch your feet. Then you're going to get the bracha of Parnasa. How do you get that? Because then Netzach Hoid Yisoid goes up to the next set of three, Chesed, Gevurah, and Tiferes, which is the right leg, with the right arm and the left arm. And the right arm and the left arm are the hands. And we said the brachas come with the yadayim. Shehu bechinas birchas haparnasa shekibel Yaakov meyitzchak Avinu k'may shekosav v'yitein l'chol leikim mitala shemayim mishmani aretz. Remember those words, right? HaKadosh Baruch Hu, well, Yitzchak Avinu, he took the bracha that he really wanted to give to Esau, but Yaakov Avinu got that bracha, right? And what did he say? V'yitein l'chol leikim mitala shemayim. You get from the tal, the beauty of the world, the land, the tal, the excess, I don't know, how do you explain that? How do you say that in English? Mitala shemayim. How would you translate it in English?
Follow you, right?
Yeah, I know but it doesn't mean you're going to get the he's blessing with dew. Bounty of heaven, the bounty of earth. There we go, bounty. That's a good one.
There's times we wake up in the morning and my wife and I, we see like a drip coming from the roof. Like it looks like as if there's a leak or a rain. So I say, there's always a drip coming, like by the window. That's it's the dew. If it's the middle of the summer, it's as hot as could be. The place is as dry as anything. And can you imagine? And
birds like that too. That's why they went by the roof. Okay, you got rid of the Baruch Hashem. That even though we know that really the bracha of Gashmius, of Parnasa, is really the Seichel, Aval Eitzel HaTzadikim G'dolim HaKol Echad. It's really one. In other words, who again, Ezo Washa Semeach Bechelkai. Where is that? That's in his Seichel. In other words, it's in the person's seichel, it's in his mind to help him understand, wow, how he can make this calculation. Hashem, you gave me what I have. This is what I need. Right? So it's really one of the same. If you have the bracha of seichel, you have the bracha of ashiras, because ezo asher hasameach bechelkai. And you can have people that have all the money in the world. They have all the, but they're not satisfied at all. They're not satisfied at all. They need more and more and more.
I thought that was a great insight that Klein gave regarding that.
Yeah, this is what we're learning right
Shmir
here.
Sabris. What do you mean? People might not be Shmir Sabris and they have a ton of money. How
Yeah,
could that be?
but they're not satisfied.
They're not satisfied. His argument is it's about satisfaction.
That's what we're saying right here. Look,
Yeah,
this is the lesson right here,
It's
Yossi.
not a number.
You know, but you see, Yossi, it's the same exact thing. You know, parnasa and seichel is the same thing.
Yeah.
If you get the bracha of parnasa, you get the bracha of seichel. It's the same thing, because if you don't have the seichel, you don't have the parnasa, you don't have the satisfaction. If you don't have satisfaction, what good is it?
Never enough.
It's never exactly. The person's always worried. He's always worried. I need to work more and more. He has no time for his family, no time for nothing. It's amazing. Because from the bracha of parnasa, the person can get seichel. If you recognize your parnasa is coming from Hashem. Got it? That's the thing. And how do you do that? You need shmiras habris. You understand? Mm-hmm. If you have shmiras habris and you have purity, if you're pure, then you could recognize that all the parnasa you have is not coming from the koyach oitzim yadi osali esachoyel hazeh. It's not because I'm so crafty and so smart. Oh, and I asked the AI and they gave me the right investment and I was so smart to ask this way and that's why I was able to make this money. No, the person understands what, or whatever. I just used that silly example. It doesn't matter. Or he has his special stockbroker he calls, or he has his other whatever. The people have all kind of things, and then they say, "Well, because I know this guy, and then this way I was made my." No. If you want to have the bracha of parnasa, you need to have the seichel, and you need to have the seichel to have the bracha of parnasa. It's one and the same. And how do you get that through purity? Because the Bnei Tzadikim, when they eat and they have their parnasa, it's with a lot of holiness. Like we learned when they make their brachas and when they eat and they recognize their neshamas, nefashis in the food and they're making rectifications. All the beautiful things that we learned in Birchas HaPeiros, right? Birchas HaReach, right? We learned all these beautiful ideas. Ad shechilosam uparnosam ba'atzmayu bechinas birchas haseichel ki mekablen hamayach ba'aseichel ayidei achilosam. Because they can get their mayach and they can get their seichel through their eating. Because they recognize Hashem. Like we're learning in Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, we're learning the laws of washing our hands before we eat, right? All these nice things that we're learning about. What's the point to do that? To remove the impurity from our hands, so that way we could take off all of the things, of the ideas of that I'm earning the money with my hands. You understand? With my own hands. I earned this money. No, I take it away and I lift up my hands and I say, Su'u Yadechem Kodesh Uvochu Es Hashem. I lift up my hands to bless God. You understand? Mm-hmm. When I do that, then I say Netilas Al Netilas Yadayim. Then I can touch my food. I can have my bread. And what we learned, when you eat your bread, you can come closer to Hashem sometimes, and even when you're davening and learning. When you recognize that the food came to you via Hashem. Hashem gave you this sandwich. Hashem gave you this meal. It's from Hashem. Right? It's from Hashem. And if you say, well, I made my own food. Yeah, okay. Who gave you the ability to do that? Who woke you up this morning? Who gave you the health? Who gave you the health and the knowledge and the ability to be able to make your food? It's Hashem. Now here, look what happens here now. Here, watch. The next thing, here we go. Vayikatz Yaakov mishinasai. Well, Yaakov Avinu wakes up. Vayikatz Yaakov mishinasai. Wow, that was some dream, huh? That was some dream, right? It's in the Torah. These are words in the Torah. Words in the Torah. Yaakov Avinu says, wow. Hashem, you're here? I thought you were back in the yeshiva, Shem Ve'ever. I thought you were back in my father's house. I didn't know you made it over here, Hashem. This is Yaakov Avinu saying this, you understand? Yeah. He's the Bechir HaAvos. He's the choicest of the Avos. Right? We said his Mita is Shalem. Yeah, Avram Avinu's Mita wasn't Shalem because he had Yishmael. Yitzchak Avinu's Mita wasn't Shalem because he had Esau. Yaakov Avinu's Mita is Shalem. And Yaakov Avinu was saying, V'anochi lo yadati. I didn't know that. So anyone that doesn't know this, Hashem is telling this to us to now. If you don't know wherever you are, Hashem is there with you. Wake up and recognize Hashem is there with you. He's there with you. He's Mekoymai Sheleimah. You can't be anywhere in the world without Hashem. V'anochi lo yadati. V'zeh bechinas tachlis hayadiyah shaloi neda. Right? The Rebbe says, what's the best thing is to know that I don't know. Right? Again, when you attain the spiritual light, that light, the Or Ein Sof, when you attain the Or Ein Sof through the Tes Cholim that we learned, right? The Tishrei Cholim that we learned about. It's Mati v'loy Mati. I understand it, but I feel it, but I don't know what it is. Tachlis Hayadiyah Shalei Neda. To know, I have no idea what the calculations of Hashem and what's going on in this world. I just know Hashem takes care of me, and Hashem is there for me, and Hashem is taking care of what I need, and I trust in Hashem. That's all I need to know. That's the idea that, but nothing other than that. I don't need to know anything. Shu bechinas hamokim, bechinas keter. Hashem is the mokim. He's keter. Hashem, of course, is higher than keter. Bechinas Amisada Miyashev, Shu Bebechinas Hamakev. And what does that mean? That's when the system rises up, and then it connects. We said the Shechina connected to Malchus. It connected to Netzach Chod Yesod. That was the Raglan. And then it went up higher again. It went to the next set of three, to Chesed Gevura Tiferes, which is the Yadayim. And the bracha comes from the Yadayim. That's why you'll have the bracha of the Parnasa. And why you can have the bracha of the Parnasa? Because you'll have the Das to know that it comes from Hashem. And then we said it keeps going. As you do the mitzvah b'simcha, you keep powering it. And then it goes up to Chochma Bina Das, right? It goes up to the next set of three. And then it's very powerful, but then it gets to the Keter. And then it's the Hamtana, the Petisha, the crash. And then it creates those 9 Heicholim of Kiddush, of holy chambers that are Mole, the Or Ein Sof. And that, when that light comes into the person, it's Miyashev, and it's Misader, his mind. Right? In other words, the person has a bilbul in his mind. Like we said, Yaakov Avinu had a big bilbul. He was very worried. He's leaving his father's house. He's going a faraway place. He doesn't know where this place is. He had no idea. He had no idea how he was going to get there. Nothing. He had no idea. He had no ideas at all. But and then what did he do? He learned Torah. He filled his mind with Torah. Remember we said that? He started reviewing all his learning. And he got so tired that he fell asleep. Right? Vayifka b'makom. He fell asleep. He fell upon the place. He fell down. And then he had that wild dream with Hashem giving him all the promise, everything. And then he wakes up from the dream. And he says, wow, Hashem, you were here the whole time. What was I worried about? I went through this whole thing. You were with me the whole time. When you have that redifa, that running, like we said, the thing is running, and then it hits it, the ma'akiv, it's ma'akiv it. The keter is a pushback, it pushes it back. I did not know. Bechinas hama'akev. Ayedei zeh daika hisagti Ata elekusa ki yesh Hashem b'makom hazeh. And he came to the realization that, wow, Hashem, you're in this place. Isn't that so beautiful? We're talking about Yaakov Avinu. Yaakov Avinu was coming to the realization, wow, Hashem, you're really everywhere. And this is where we learn out that Hashem is everywhere, from Yaakov Avinu. Through the obstacles of the idea of not knowing, ad sheyashev, until the mind settled, then the person can attain this light. He can be masig the Or Ein Sof. He knows he has some kind of light, like we learned from the Razel. This was his secret. Every time he did another mitzvah, he got this light, and his mind was so mesuder. His mind was so mesuder. Why was it so mesuder? Because he had all this light, the Or Ein Sof, filling his mind. He was able to be megala all the soifas. This is what the Torah only, the Gemara in Saita, the Torah only has a kiyum to a person that makes himself that he doesn't know. How do you like that? Through the lacking of knowledge. Through the lack. See, everyone thinks you have to know more and more. I need to know more and more and more and more information. More and more and more information, right? They see on the internet, everything, you have to know a lot of information, know everything. No, look what he says here. What's eder hayediyah? The lack of knowledge. Shu bechinas ha'ma'akev, pushed back. The ma'akev, hayedei zeh daike zoichel ha'sogas ha'torah. If you take back all the information, the worldly information that a person has, sometimes you have to forget what you have to forget so you can remember what you need to remember, right? We could take the example of a computer, of a phone, whatever you'd like, right? Sometimes they tell you the memory's full, right? Did they ever happen, right? Memory's full, right? Memory's full, right? You got to delete all the other junk. Clean out all the junk in the mind to have an eder. You should have the eder hayediyah. Take out all of that stuff that's not needed in there. Highlight everything and hit delete. You ever do that? You just highlight everything and then delete. It's gone. That's what we have to do in our minds. All that junk that we have in there, get rid of it. Delete it. Shua sagas hamaychin. If you want to have Torah, that's why they're telling you. If you want, look. Ein ha'toimus kaimus ela b'mi shemeisim es atzmai ke'eina yadeya. The person has to be ke'eina yadeya. He has no other knowledge. Because the problem is when you learn something and you're learning a new concept in Torah, but you have all your experience in life sometimes says, wait a second, that can't be right? Because I have experience a different way. I know something else. But then the Torah says if the Rebbe tells you that the right is left and the left is right, you listen to him. Right? Doesn't the Torah say that? Right? Because again, I'm only saying he's wrong because I know better. The Torah teaches us, no. Learn the Torah. Delete all the other stuff. Come with an open mind, a fresh mind, to be able to understand the learning that you're learning. Otherwise, you'll never learn anything because you're always going to be going against it the entire time you're learning. Anything you hear, I know this. That's how you can have asagas atar. That's how you can understand your Torah learning. If you remove all the other stuff, empty it all out, then you can understand Torah. Shua asagas hamaychin. Tefillin halacha hey. We learned this idea in Tefillin halacha hey b'makei macher and Chai Maran. Right, Shedarka is a chroin levracha hayaloymer bechol pam she'ata eina yedeya klal v'achachach be'ezes man hisig hasogos neirois v'chein kama pamim kol yemei chayav. And this is what Rabbi Nachman did. Many times Rabbi Nachman would say, I don't know anything. And then the next thing you would hear him tell you the most amazing lesson. How did he do that? Oh, because he had nothing, he was able to tap into the RA inside. Because I don't have my own information. It's not me. You understand? If it's not me, I'm tapping into Hashem. I rely on Hashem. You can attain anything. And that's how you can learn Torah and understand. And this is what Rabbi Nachman's secret was. He wasn't people. I don't know anything. And then he tells over this lesson. Rabbi, you must be a liar. What are you talking about? You don't know anything. How'd you give me this lesson if you didn't know anything? Right? No, because he really didn't have anything in his mind. He drew it down. He drew it down. You know, like sometimes you hear Reb Shlomo, he talks, he says, a niggin came to me. You ever hear Reb Shlomo say that?
Yeah.
This niggin came, what does that mean? What does that mean? What is he saying? The niggin came to me. What's he saying? I didn't have that. I didn't have the niggin. I didn't have this thing. I tapped into something, and it's the same idea, you understand? It's the same concept. He drew down a niggin from the Olam HaNegina. Rabbi Nachman drew down the Torah from the world of Keter. It's the same, one and the same thing. It's the same concept. Because with everything you know, you have to understand you don't know. Because even what you do know, there's so much more of what you think you know that you have no idea about. There's so much more that you'd have no idea. You can have the greatest doctor in the world, the greatest scientist, the greatest mind, and he's telling you all about this medical advancement that he made, right? He's telling you, wow, look at this thing, this is amazing. But why did it work? He can't explain that. He can explain to you, look at this advancement I made. But why did this work? Why did this medication with this formula of chemicals you put together, or this procedure, why did it work? He doesn't understand. Whatever you understand, there's so much more you don't understand. You understand what Stan was saying? When you know something, there's still so much more you don't know. So much more you don't know. Look, anytime someone uses any kind of an app, an application on the phone, so okay, they know to download the app and they can use the app, they know it. Do they have any idea at all on how the thing is working? The guy's an expert, right? You said your son now is an expert in AI, right? He understands, right? But does he understand? He's an expert. I got it, no problem. But does he understand how it actually works? Can he explain to you how it actually? He knows if I do this, I say this, he knows I can get it to do different things. Why does it work? Taklis hayadiyah shalei neda. I need to understand I'm always relying on Hashem. Okay, mizeh b'mokem ve'achar kach zoichen hayadei zeh daike shebitel atzmai v'yoda she'ina yadei klal. And that's how you could learn every time. Whatever I learn, whatever I do, whatever I accomplish, it doesn't matter. I can always come back to Hashem and say, okay, thank you, I understand this, but I really understand it's much greater than I can understand. The same way Reb Nosson told us, he just spoke about Hilchas Tefillin, right? After we learned Hilchas Tefillin, Reb Nosson said at the end, he closed off Hilchas Tefillin. He says, you know what? I really don't know anything about Tefillin. Rabbi, you just gave me 500 lessons on Tefillin. But really what Tefillin I don't understand. I could tell you nice things, but really what are they? I don't understand. You understand? You could talk about a lot of things, but you really don't understand. We don't know. And through that, you can be masig more things. If your cup is full, you can't add anything. But if your cup is half full, you can always add. You can always keep adding, right? And that, where does it come from? From the lack of knowledge, from knowing taklis idea shalei neda. Me'eder hayediyah el hayediyah, from one lacking to the next knowledge. Bezel bechinas v'achachma me'ein timotzei. Me'ein daika hakol al yedei simchas hamitzvah. All of this you attain, everything we just discussed over here, through the simcha of the mitzvah. Through a simcha of a mitzvah, you can attain the highest levels. Do we understand that? Are we convinced yet, or we still don't know? Simcha of a mitzvah can help us, right? If you say you understand, that's no good, because tachlis idiyah shalei neder, right? but no, one thing you could know, I want to do a mitzvah b'simcha, that I can know. How it works, yeah, Rabbi Nachman explained us in lesson 24, how it works. How does that actually work? I have no idea. I have no idea how I'm lifting the Shekhinah. Can I explain to you what the Shekhinah is? Yes, I can give you a lot of words and explain you the Shekhinah. But do I know what it is? I have no idea. It's not physical. It's not tangible.
So it's like study it, learn it, explain it, debate it, take it apart, all the secrets, all the details of the Shekhinah. And then...
I don't know what it is.
You don't have to go that far even. I mean, how does my hand go up and down? I have no idea how that happens.
Right, we're not studying every morning about how your hand goes up and down.
No, but it's anything in life. No, but that also, it's Hashem doing it. That's it.
That's a lot simpler than the Shekhinah, though.
Yeah.
And we don't even understand that, or how a cell becomes a cell. I mean, it's just...
But it's not even like as if we start with, I don't know, we start with, we're going to really try to find out Hashem and His Shekhinah.
No, Reish is Chachma Yiras Hashem. That's the beginning. That's the thing you have to know. Shivisi Hashem Lenegdi Summit. You got to know that. That's it. Know that. Once you know that, and you recognize you have Hashem, He's Mekoymai Shalolam, and Eina Olam Mekoymai, because He is Makoym Shalolam. He is the world. The world is not His place. He is the world. You understand? Once you understand that, then you understand no matter where you're going to go, you're going with Hashem because you're taking in the Neshama with you. To any place you go, that you find Hashem in that place because, again, He's Mekoymai Shalolam. So anywhere you go, you meet Hashem. You can connect to Hashem in any place. Yaakov Avinu revealed this. He didn't understand that. Yaakov Avinu thought that so long as I'm in Eretz Yisrael, that so long as I'm in my father's house, I'm connected in the yeshiva Shem Ve'ever, I'm good learning, I'm connected. But he had no idea that he can stay connected when he leaves. And that's what he was petrified about. He didn't know. He thought he was going there himself. Hashem tells him in his dream. Why? Because he went to sleep learning Torah. He filled his mind till he got so exhausted of learning Torah, he fell asleep. And that's why he was like to have this dream. And in this dream, we said that's the sulam. It was mutzav arza, Raisha, Megia, Sheleimah, and you had the malachim or oilim v'yardim. We said the malachim. Who are the malachim? Those are the tzaddikim, having the aliyah, saying they read this all the time, right? And that's how they that's how they attain more spiritual light. And then Yaakov Avinu, HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to him in the dream and he says to him, don't worry, you're not alone. I'm with you. You're going to travel. I'm going with you. You're not going yourself. You're not going yourself. It's amazing. And don't worry, because you're going to come back. And I'm going to come back with you. Oh, and you're going to have a lot of children. They'll be like the earth, the dust of the earth. And they'll be in all four directions. Right? For Razel, Yoma, Vakeva, Safan, Zavan, Negma. Right? They'll be all four directions. What is that? That all your children will go around the world, and wherever they are, they'll know this concept. They'll know this concept of that the Shekhinah is with them, that they have their neshama with them. I am Mekoymai Shalolam, and then they can go in the Heichal Tamura of the world wherever they are, and whatever they're experiencing, and find Hashem in that place, do a mitzvah b'simcha in that place, and then get filled with the light. That's why it's Afar Aretz. You'll be in the Heichal Tamura of the Afar of the entire world. You're going to go everywhere. You're going to go everywhere, but you're going to be able to lift it up through simcha, through doing a mitzvah b'simcha, because when you do the mitzvah of simcha, you raise the Shekhinah up. It connects to Malchus. And then the Shekhinah connects to the Netzach Hoid in your side, which you have your Raglin, the feet, right? The feet, Netzach and Hoid, the feet. And then he connects up to the Chesed Gevura Tiferes, which is the right arm and the left arm. Chesed is the right arm, Gevura is the left arm. Then we said the Brachas Abiyadayim, right? And then it goes to Chochma Bina Das, the Seichel, right? Seichel, Chochma Bina Das, right? It comes to the Chochma Bina Das. And then that's so powerful, it goes to the Keter, has the Petisha, right? It has that crash, the Hamtana, and it makes it stop, and it brings it back. It has the 9 chambers, and the 9 chambers are filled with the Ar-Ein Seif. The Ar-Ein Seif fills the person. It's meyashev and mesader the mind. Oh, Sasha, wow, good, wow. Baruch Hashem. It's meyashev and mesader the mind. Good morning, good morning. Good morning. But then Yaakov Avinu says that he realizes that he says that he Vanoichi lo yadati. I did not know Hashem, you were here. I did not know. And that's really Hashem speaking to all of the Jews, that they say that they don't know that Hashem is with them. But Hashem is telling every single Jew, no matter where you are, I'm with you. No matter where you are, I'm with you. Because I am a kaimai shalayla. Does anyone have any questions on this? It's okay. You can ask a question if you have a question, if you have a comment. No? No questions. Okay.
That was the finish that he got, Yaakov Avinu, by being on Har Habayit, by recognizing, wait, there's something really special going on here. And then when he woke up, he threw in that, I don't know. He threw in that.
Vanoichi lo yadati. Vanoichi lo
The
yadati.
whole world got underneath my head. I recognized Afar. I recognized.
And the stones all became one.
Yeah,
we're going to learn about that. We're going to learn about that.
There's serious stuff going on in the world. Whoa, this was a big deal. What just happened? Like he had a new insight.
Yeah.
But he threw in those words.
No, but even Yaakov Avinu didn't recognize.
He goes, yeah, here I am.
I didn't know that when I leave, Hashem is going with me. Even Yaakov Avinu. That was a phenomenon for Yaakov Avinu.
That's what he didn't know. He's not saying he's saying I didn't know that. Hey,
I can
Hashem's
connect.
Be with me.
Yes.
Wherever I go, because he's on his way to.
He's on his way to Mesopotamia.
Mesopotamia, leaving Eretz Yisrael.
Yes.
I didn't know that really the whole world is folded into one kind of.
That's he had the Kvitza Saderach.
Right.
Right. The Kvitza Saderach, Kvitza Sa'aretz, Kvitza Sader. We learned the 2 different kinds.
Right.
There's Kvitza Sa'aretz where the land actually folds up, and you just take one step and you're in the next place because everything else folded up.
Yeah.
Kvitza Saderach is you go very quickly. But he had Kvitza Sa'aretz.
Right.
So Yaakov Avinu made one step and he was there. Amazing. The whole story is why it's amazing. But the chizuk that we could take from this, all by doing a mitzvah b'simcha, right? Any time you do a mitzvah b'simcha, you lift the Shekhinah up. That's what we need to understand. And any Jew can do this at any time, no matter where they are. Why? Because they're in the makayim, they're in a place, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu is makayimai shalom. So anywhere you are, connect to Hashem.
Well, you have to.
There's a klita. You have a connection. There's a klita there of your neshama to Hashem in that place. It's a signal, a very strong signal, because Hashem is the world. Connect to it. Okay.
Yeah.
And again, like Reb Nassim told us, any of these lessons we're learning, they only can affect you if you go home and you mizbainen and you think through them, you think through the lesson and internalize the lesson and make the lesson part of you. Otherwise, you just learn the information and it goes in one ear right out the other ear. So the whole point is to go back and to internalize this amazing lesson. Go over the story with Yaakov Avinu, a beautiful story. And we said that we learned yesterday that the first Beis Hamikdash was in the merit of Avram Avinu. The second Beis Hamikdash was in the merit of Yitzchak Avinu. The third Beis Hamikdash is Yaakov Avinu. Why Yaakov Avinu? Because he's the Bechira Avos. He's the one that had his mita with Sheleimah, and therefore when the Beis HaMikdash, the third Beis HaMikdash, which will be built, hopefully today, any moment, the Beis HaMikdash will be built. I know we see, wow, it's how can that be? Don't worry, you can do that. Why? Takla Sayadiyah Shalei Neda. I have no idea how Hashem is going to do it, but I know Hashem can do anything He wants. At any moment, Hashem can decide. And we have to remember the next thing, the most important thing, that everyone's responsible for bringing Mashiach. Every single Jew is responsible. And the question was asked to the Chavetz Chaim, how could I be responsible for bringing Mashiach? How can me? If there were great tzaddikim before me, right? There were great people, and they couldn't bring Mashiach. How am I going to bring Mashiach? And the Chavetz Chaim answered, no, it doesn't work like that. It works as a scale. There's a scale, a balance, a scale. And the scale right now is tipping towards Galut, right? It's tipping towards exile. And the other side is Geula. And it's still too heavy on the side of Galus. But every time you put another mitzvah, and you do another mitzvah b'simcha, and you put it on the side of this scale of Geula, it could be any person that does that little mitzvah that changes the scale, and then it goes to the other side. We don't really understand that today, because in most places you go, they have all digital scales. But I don't know if you remember ever the old scales, right? The guy's measuring, and he wants us, you want a half a pound, you want a kilo of this, whatever it was, right? So they would put on one side, they would put the kilo, and the other side, he would put the whatever you were buying, right? That's how they did it, right? And then he would just add a little more, and then it would go down. That's really what we're waiting for. We're waiting, and that's why any Jew, any time, can be the one that brings Mashiach, because it could be your mitzvah that you did right now. This mitzvah that you chose to do right this moment could be that final mitzvah that changes the scale to Geula, and then Mashiach comes, and we have our Beis HaMikdash, Tchias HaMeisim, and all the good stuff. Okay? So that's our lesson for today. Please internalize what we learned, and we'll pick it up tomorrow with the words of Vayira, Vayomer ma noira hamokaim hazeh. Okay? And we'll pick it up over there. And the Mitzvah Hashem tomorrow will finish 24. This was a long journey.
And again, regarding the two coals, again, Chaim spoke about this a little bit also, but it's like you have to, one of the calls seems to be hey, I'm in pain, I'm lacking. Meaning, had you just said, have a voice of joy, I understand.
Now, Yitzchak Avinu said, "Hakol kol Yaakov vayadayim yedei Esav."
Yeah.
So we learned, so long as your call is a call of calling out to Hashem, the yadayim of Esav have no power. You understand?
Well, you need both of those calls.
Right? No, but he said it. Yitzchak Avinu said twice. Yeah. He could have just said, "Hakol Yaakov."
One of them is, hey, I got nothing. I got a problem, and I'm lacking.
Which is the first call, which was Kuf Lamed.
Yeah.
The first one is Kuf Lamed. The second time he says Hakol Kol Yaakov. The second one is Kuf Vav Lamed. So the question is, why does one lack the Vav, and why is one Chaser, and why is one Mole? So we learned that the one is Chaser. Why is it Chaser? Because you need something, you're Chaser something, yeah. So therefore I'm crying out to Hashem. When He gives it to me, I'm Mole. So then I can cry out to Hashem with thanks and joy to Hashem that you answered my tefillah and you gave me what I needed. Isn't that a beautiful idea?
Yeah.
And it's just the pasuk. Read the pasuk. It says Hakol Kol Yaakov. One is the Kuf Lamed, then Kol is Kuf Vav Lamed.
If you have those two coals, Esav can't do anything to you.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have those coals,
If
you're not speaking to Hashem, if you're not calling out to Hashem,
if the people calling out to Hashem,
you're going to have to deal with Esav's hands.
Yes.
And they're hairy, and they're big, and they're slimy, and you don't want that.
We don't want that.
Right.
No. Okay. I think now we're learning Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. We're in Siman Mem 40. Netilas Yadayim LeSeuda. I think today we're up to 20.
Yeah.
20. Okay. Okay, so we were learning this phenomenon based on the Mishnah Machshirin, which is the Mishnah is right after Mikvah. Okay. It's in Perik Vav Mishnah Dalet. Okay. That there are 7 different types of liquids. That if you would touch those liquids and your hands are not pure, you would make the thing impure that you were eating. Okay? And therefore you're supposed to wash your hands before you eat something that has one of these 7 liquids on them. The 7 liquids that we said, which are wine or wine vinegar, honey, bee honey, olive oil, milk or byproducts of milk like whey, right? We said that also. If there's tal, dew, right? Dew that fell on something that's on whatever, okay. And you have dam you have blood of a behemoth or a chayah that was used only for refuah, because otherwise you can't have anything to do with that. All right. Or we said mayim, water. So if there's any of these things, you can transfer your tumah to that thing, right? Because we have the concept that a person's hands are impure because the yadayim askonias, they're busy moving, touching parts of the body, right? They're called stam yadayim. In halacha, they're called stam yadayim. And if you have stam yadayim, so then they touch something, they can transfer the impurity to the food, then you wind up eating the food, ingesting it, and taking in the impurity. So we don't want to do that, so therefore we wash. Huh?
Can I give you an example of something that happened the other day
Why not?
about the very topic? So there was another Kohen that got his hands washed. And I saw him, he made the guy who was washing his hands pour the cup out and refill it. I asked him why he did that. He says, because the guy stuck his thumb in the water.
We learned about that.
Filled up.
We learned about that, right? We learned about that. If you touch your hand, right? So one second. We learned that concept, remember? Here, if there's a chavis of water, you have a barrel of water, right? And you put your hand in there, and you put your hand there to fill up the cup, we said that would be okay, right? But we said if you would put your finger in there because you wanted to wash your finger, then you disqualify the water, okay? However, I believe this fella put his thumb in there because he was just trying to pick up the cup.
Yeah, he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, okay. But
Yeah.
that would really not disqualify the water because he didn't put his hand in there to wash it. If his hand had a little dust on it and he wanted to clean his hand, so he stuck his hand in, then that disqualifies the water. But if he didn't, but if he just put his finger in there, the same way when you're filling up the cup, if you the example was you have a chavis, you have a barrel of water, and then you have a washing cup. So you stick the cup in the water to be sure if you want to draw the water out of the barrel, right, to wash your hands. Your hand will touch the water, no problem. Because your purpose of putting your hand in the water is only to put the cup in the water to take the water out. But we said if that's saying you can have a barrel with 50 liters in the barrel, right? You can have a big barrel with 50, 60 liters in there, right? Okay? And the guy has a little dust on his finger, and I want to clean off my dust. He puts his finger and he disqualifies the 60 liters of water. Because he used it for a purpose. We said if water was used for a purpose, you used it, it can't be qualified to use for hand washing. You can't wash your hands with that water. If it has to be water that was not used before. When you put your hand in there, just for a practicality, because you need to get the water out, that doesn't disqualify it. You understand?
So in this case, the lady was just picking up the cup or moving the cup.
That would have been okay. It's no problem.
He wasn't trying to wash his thumb.
Yeah, okay. No, I don't know that he had. Listen, if the guy had something on it, we don't know. That only he knows. We don't know that, right? We don't know that. Okay. All right, but either way, it's okay. Mordechai, you understand that? Look, okay, good. Now let's go to Chaf now. The Varim shedarkam la'achlan beloy kaf umazlik. If you have foods that the way you eat them is normally without a spoon or a fork, right? You have a food, like let's say nuts or dried fruit or things like that, okay? Afiluhim oichel ayedei kaf oy mazlik. So he's eating them. He's a very proper person. I'm not going to touch my food. I'm going to use my fork and my spoon, right? Tzarech netilas dayim. So if it was a food, we said that if it was a food that had that was like your salad, right? Or it was something that you would normally eat it without. With what do you call it? With your hands, but you're not using your hands. You're going to use a fork, so that's also no good. Why? Because you're using your hand, and that can transfer the tumah through that the idea. So therefore, you're supposed to still wash your hands again. Again, where do all of these things come from? The seder, right? When we have the seder, leil haseder, we have rochza, right? We wash our hands without a bracha. Why? Because we're going to be dipping the karpas in the water, salt water. Water's on the list in the Mishnah, right? Water's on the list. So therefore, really, we said that me'ikar adin, you don't have to wash your hands. But especially when it comes to Leil Seder, we're trying to connect to the Emunah. It's the night of Emunah, so we want to do more, as much as we can, in order to connect to Hashem. So I want to remove any impurities that I may have on my hands, and that's why we do it. So here we're saying that, and he did say this. He says only people that have Yorei Shemayim, people that want to follow Minhag Chasidus and Yorei Shemayim, these are the people that'll wash their hands in these cases. But you don't, if you didn't wash your hands, it's fine. Because I was talking with Shalom the other day, if you can eat a bowl of cereal with milk, wash your hands. You know that, yes? Yeah. Because milk is on the list. Yeah. And I'm not touching the milk, I'm going to use a spoon. It don't matter if you use a spoon, doesn't matter. Wash your hands. Aval davar she'ein darkei lachol rak al yedei kaf kigoyin levivot b'kiyotze bezeh. But things that you wouldn't normally eat with your hands can, like for example, a latka, a leviva, right? A levivot is like a pancake or something like that you would normally not. B'kiyotze bezeh. Although people today eat latkes, they just pick them up. I mean, right? In general, today?
It very much depends
on the place and the culture,
yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, most people will pick up a latke and just eat the latke, right? Is that, am I right? I've seen that. Okay. V'chein peris merukachim bidvash, and then you have fruits that are covered in honey, right? You have honey covered fruits or whatever. B'makim shein darkam lachlam rak al yedei kafay mazlag ein tzrichim netilas yadayim. If it's fruits and things that you normally would not eat, because it's messy, gooey, maybe like you can understand. Maybe let's say a baked apple, right? Let's say a baked apple, right? No one's going to eat that with their hand. They only eat that with a spoon. So even if you put, let's say, honey on the baked apple, right? People do that. They put honey on the baked apple. Could be some oil on the baked apple. These are things that we know. But since you only would never eat that with your hand, so therefore you don't have to wash your hand with that. Okay?
What are the
subtlety?
Liquids? What are the liquids again that make the hexer?
We said that it's wine or wine vinegar. It's honey, olive oil, milk or milk byproducts like whey, other things that are milk byproducts, tal, dam,
Right.
okay, dam. If you had any, I mean, to me, I don't know why anyone would want to eat any food that has blood on it, but that's another story. It's on the list. It's on the list, okay. And then water. And then water. So if any things are on there, right? So if you make a salad and you put olive oil, that's on the list, right?
If it's different oil, not olive oil.
No, then that wouldn't be the problem. It's Shemen Zayit. According to the Torah, the only oil there really is olive oil. Okay, that's our lesson for today. Everyone should have a wonderful day. Remember, wherever you go, you're going with Hashem. Connect to Hashem. And thank you for joining. Kol Tov, everybody.